The boundary between life and death has long been regarded as an absolute divide, a final cessation beyond which consciousness dissolves into oblivion. Yet, over recent decades, a growing body of clinical research has begun to challenge this stark demarcation, revealing enigmatic glimpses of awareness that persist beyond the cessation of measurable brain activity. These findings, drawn from carefully conducted studies of near-death experiences, NDEs, and cardiac arrest survivors, invite us to reconsider the nature of consciousness and the possibility that awareness might transcend the biological confines of the body. What is emerging is a picture both baffling and profound, one that unsettles the assumptions of neuroscience while opening a mysterious doorway into the question of what it truly means to die. At the heart of this inquiry are the clinical observations of patients who have been declared clinically dead, meaning that their heart has stopped beating and brain activity, as measured by standard electroencephalograms, has flatlined, yet who later recount vivid, detailed experiences during this period of apparent unconsciousness. These reports often include descriptions of events occurring in the room from which they were absent, encounters with luminous beings, life reviews, and sensations of profound peace or transcendence. What makes these accounts particularly compelling is that they are not mere hallucinations or confabulations produced after recovery, but frequently involve accurate perceptions of medical procedures or conversations that should have been inaccessible to the patient. One of the most remarkable aspects of these cases is the consistency of experiences reported across cultures and ages, suggesting a universal dimension to consciousness that does not depend solely on individual brain states. Studies conducted in intensive care units and emergency rooms have systematically documented these phenomena. For example, the Awareness During Resuscitation study, led by Dr. Sam Parnia, involved more than 2,000 cardiac arrest patients and revealed that a subset reported verifiable awareness during periods when their brains were thought to be inactive. These patients described details of their resuscitation, conversations between doctors, and their own sensations of leaving their bodies. Often correlating with times when brain activity was minimal or absent, skeptics argue that residual brain activity, or subtle neurological processes not detected by standard monitoring, might account for these experiences. They suggest that oxygen deprivation could trigger hallucinations or that memories are reconstructed after revival, influenced by cultural expectations or subconscious memories. Yet, many of these explanations fall short when confronted with accounts verified by independent witnesses or involving information unknown to the patient prior to the event. The clinical data thus sits uneasily between materialist interpretations and the tantalizing possibility of consciousness as a phenomenon not fully rooted in the physical brain. Beyond individual anecdotes, a growing interest has emerged in the precise mechanisms that might allow awareness to persist after clinical death. Neuroscience is beginning to explore altered states of consciousness associated with dying, such as terminal spreading depolarizations, waves of electrical silence sweeping across the brain, and their temporal relationship to reported experiences. The question arises whether consciousness might detach from the brain as a whole or shift into a form beyond the reach of current measurement tools. Some theorists propose that consciousness might be a fundamental aspect of the universe, not merely an emergent property of neural networks, and that the clinical death moment is a threshold rather than an endpoint. Philosophically, these findings compel us to revisit long-standing assumptions about the self and the mind-body relationship. If awareness can indeed persist without measurable brain function, what does this imply about the nature of identity and existence? The clinical evidence challenges reductionist paradigms, hinting at the possibility of a dualistic or non-local consciousness that transcends biological decay. This has profound implications not only for science but also for spiritual and existential perspectives, offering a glimmer of hope that death may not be an absolute extinguishing but a transformation or continuation in another realm. For patients and families, these discoveries carry deeply personal significance. Knowing that awareness might continue beyond death alters the way we understand loss, grief, and the dying process itself. It suggests that moments of presence and connection can extend beyond the visible signs of life, inviting compassion and respect for those crossing the threshold. Medical practitioners, too, are beginning to integrate these insights into care practices, acknowledging the experiential reality of patients even in states previously assumed to be devoid of consciousness. Ultimately, the clinical evidence of awareness after death does not offer easy answers but rather opens a profound mystery at the heart of human existence. It challenges the finality of death, beckoning us to explore the boundaries of mind and matter with humility and curiosity. The scientific quest to understand these phenomena continues, bridging the seen and unseen, the measurable and the ineffable, inviting a new era of inquiry into the nature of consciousness that may forever change how we perceive the end of life.